But first, new at 9, a vigil tonight to remember those victims, Cathy and Gary Rabellizsa.
KITV4's Kate Medeiros reports from Maili.
A beautiful night, but a somber atmosphere here in Maili as more than 100 people gather to honor the fallen victims of Friday night's chicken fight violence, an act that many are saying shows how a move away from this kind of violence is really necessary. Friends, family, and community members came together at Maili Beach Park for a special vigil remembering the 2 shooting victims, Gary and Cathy Rabellizsa. One of the survivors of this shooting was in attendance to offer his support, but many of those close to the victims say they just want to move on and that they don't want Maili to be thought of in such a violent light.
A community doesn't need to be labeled with this negative impact, that the community can then be labeled as an uplifting community coming together as one. And that's really, I think, what something like this is all about, to be sure that we're all here for each other.
Many of the vigil goers noted that they came in support of nonviolence and want to remind the community that peace is always possible.
The killing of another life is not necessary. So we want to end the violence now here in this community and in Hawaii and in the world. It's all too much going on.
State Representative Darius Keela gave a speech during the vigil and says that this act of unnecessary gun violence highlights the changes that he hopes to bring to Hawaii law.
I think it's knowing that there are some things that are coming out of the legislature to tighten up some regulation around firearms, but also knowing that we have to come down on criminal activity and criminals who take advantage of the judicial system and the lack of enforcement.
Overall, while the Maili community will continue to remember these shooting victims, they are now just working to move on and move forward. Kate Medeiros, KITV4 Island News.
Now back to the suspects in the Maili double homicide. One of the suspects, 23-year-old Jacob Borge, made his first appearance in court today. He's charged with a total of 11 counts, including first-degree murder, which carries a possible life sentence without parole if convicted. He's also charged with attempted murder and firearms offenses. Police say Borge and the teen suspect turned themselves into police late Tuesday night. They're accused of shooting at 5 people, killing 2 of them at an illegal chicken fight in Maili. Borge's bail is set at $2 million.
Now, the other suspect in that case is being held at the Juvenile Detention Center, sources close to the investigation identifying him as 16-year-old Shaden McEnroe Keali'i. Police filing a petition with family court alleging that McEnroe Keali'i committed the crime. Prosecutors still have not said whether they'll request to have him tried as an adult in this case. Now, if they do that, then a family court judge would decide whether to waive jurisdiction and they would transfer him to circuit court.